issues in politics, business, sports, entertainment, and give you a peek of what is making news today. And we've got two sections on the program. The first session is where we read out the headlines and the stories to you, and the second session we bring out our in-house analyst to give you ask questions and give you a look of what it gives you a look of what his view is on the stories that have been read out to you. I am Inioluwa Adekoya, and this beautiful morning I will be reviewing headlines from the Oak newspaper, the Punch newspaper, the Daily Post newspaper, and the Nation newspaper. We will take a short break right about now. When we return, we will go straight into our first set of headlines.
The land of fame really rejoices. A new dawn rises over the kingdom, and Israel welcomes a new chapter. I, Chief Funsho, joyfully celebrate the official installation and coronation of His Royal Majesty Oba Bankole Adeyefa II as the 25th Elemure of Emurele Kingdom. An event that will come on Saturday, December 13, 2025 by 10 a.m. at Community Grammar School Field, Emurele. May your reign be blessed with wisdom, may your throne be filled with peace, and may Emurele flourish under your royal guardians. From my humble self and my entire family, we say a big congratulations. Kabiyesi o, long may you reign.
Ọdún Ayọ̀lá na the ogbonge program wey we don design for all our better customers. As we don enter this ember period, so to the same market, I wan make the whole world hear your tori. Na on top high power 102.7 FM. Make you dey run dey come because e dey your back gidigba. Now na by yourself you go tell the world wetin you dey sell. On top our program, we just shikini money. But the award go begin for 1st of October till 31st of December, Monday to Friday, every 8:30 for morning and 2 p.m. for afternoon. Now, high power day for you because now by yourself you go tell us what you dey sell. If you snooze, now you sabi. Reach us for our line for 08063582857 or 08131570419. Also for on top 07067072127. It still remain 08038140723. Now you know why you dey wait so because time no dey.
Yes, glad to have you back. The program is still in the papers and it's coming to you from no other station but iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the list of our stories this morning, we've got this coming from the Oak newspaper. Ayedatiwa backs BFN Excellence Award, AIL's fellowship contribution to state. And also on the Oak newspaper, where we've got this, Ekiti First Lady flags of MNCH breastfeeding awareness drive. Moving to the Punch newspaper, where we've got this on the anti-Tinubu post. Shure arraigned, released on self-recognition. And now to the Punch newspaper, where we've got this on Owolabi Silas as he blames politicians for fueling criminality and banditry. Still on the Punch newspaper, where we've got this headline coming from Adeleke and Osun State. Adeleke shuns Osun PDP primary as Adebayo emerges governor candidate. Yes, here is a fresh look of the headlines this morning. We will take a short break. When we get back, we'll read both the stories and those major headlines to your hearing. Yes, glad to have you back. Beginning from Ondo State on the Oak newspaper, Ayedatiwa bags BFN Excellence Award, AIL's fellowship contributions to the state. And now to the details. Ondo State Governor Honorable Lucky Ayedatiwa has commended the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, for its contributions to the spiritual and social development of the state. The governor was represented by the Chief of Staff, Prince Segun Omojuwa, gave a commendation during the courtesy visit to governor's office by the fellowship to present an award of excellence to him. According to him, the PFN has consistently influenced the spiritual and socio-economic growth of Ondo State. He also noted that the governor regularly feels the impact of the fellowship, especially through its prayers and its mobilization of Christians in support of the government programs and policies. He further acknowledged the PFN contribution to security and peacekeeping, stating that the governor had on several occasions called on the fellowship to intervene in delicate situations. He commended the group for applying its knowledge and experience to establish the state. Omojuwa added that the governor appreciates the support of the PFN as shown to Christianity and the church in the state, stressing that the governor openly identifies with fellowship and remains committed to reciprocating its goodwill. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline, Inioluwa Adekoya's PFN Excellence Award hails fellowship contributions to the state. Yes, moving on, still on the Old newspaper, where we've got this coming from Ekiti's First Lady. Ekiti's First Lady flags off MNCH breastfeeding awareness drive. And now to the details. The wife of the Ekiti governor, Dr. Olayemi Oyebanji, has hosted the official flag-off ceremony of the 2025 Maternal Newborn and Child Health MNCH and Breastfeeding Week in her office in Ado Ekiti. The event brought together developmental partners, government officials, health workers and mothers from across the state in a united effort to promote child nutrition and improve maternal health practices. Dr. Oyebanji expressed her appreciation and acknowledged the unwavering support of Governor Biodun Oyebanji, whose administration, she said, continues to make impactful contributions towards strengthening the healthcare in Ekiti State. She commended the collaborative efforts of UNICEF, the World Health Organization WHO, and the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency for their consistent support in the advancing maternal and child health initiatives. The First Lady also emphasized the critical importance of optimal breastfeeding, urging all mothers to embrace proper breastfeeding practices to ensure healthy growing and stronger immunity for their children. She further highlighted the wide-ranging benefits of breastfeeding, from improved brain development to enhanced protection against malnutrition, vitamin A deficiency, and childhood illness. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline, Ekiti First Lady flags off MNCH breastfeeding awareness drive. Yes, and on the Punch newspaper, where we've got this headline, anti-Tinubu post, Shura arraigned, released on self-recognition. A federal high court in Abuja has restrained politician and online publisher Omoyele Sowore for making any further comments considered harmful to national peace and security. Delivering the ruling yesterday, Justice Mohammed Umar warned that the court would not hesitate to revoke Showore's bail. Delivering the ruling yesterday, Justice Mohammed Umar warned that the court would not hesitate to revoke Showore's bail if he repeated such conduct. The judge also noted that Showore would have previously contested for the presidency and is already on bail in an earlier case with his passport still in the court's custody, qualified to receive bail on self-recognition. The ruling followed a bail request moved by his lawyer, Mashal Abubakar, shortly after Showore was arraigned on a 5-count charge. He is accused of defaming President Bola Tinubu by allegedly describing him as a criminal in a post on X and Facebook. Showore, who is being prosecuted by the Department of State Service, pleaded not guilty to all charges. According to the charge sheet, the 2019 presidential candidate of the African Action Congress (AAC) is alleged to have violated provisions of the Cybercrimes Prohibition, Prevention etc. Amendment Act 2024, as well as the Criminal Code Act by referring to President Tinubu as a criminal. Two additional defendants are listed in the case: X Inc., formerly Twitter, and Meta Facebook Inc. in a suit marked FHC/ABJ/CR/484/2025. If that story aligns with your interest, it's on the Punch newspaper talking anti-Tinubu post. Showore arraigned, released on self-recognition. Yes, still on the Punch newspaper, Owolabi Silas blames politicians for fueling criminality, banditry. And now to the details. The 2019 governorship candidate of the Alliance of Democracy in the Lagos State, Chief Owolabi Silas, has blamed the rising wave of banditry and kidnappings and other violent crimes on politicians who sponsor thugs for political gain. Silas urged President Bola Tinubu and the National Assembly to pass the law banning politicians from using thugs during election. He said any politician in need of security should rely on the police and licensed private security companies that can be held responsible for their actions. He also stated, and I quote, "In the developed polities of Europe and America, the use of thugs and hooligans is often rare to come by. That is why the culture of sanity prevails in their political life and governance." He called on civil society groups and individuals to pressure the executive and the legislature to act quickly, saying the issue requires urgent actions. He said the worsening insecurity across the country was linked to politicians who empower hoodlums to intimidate rivals. According to him, this act have contributed to banditry, terrorism, and kidnapping in several parts of Nigeria. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, "Owolabi Silas blames politicians for fueling criminality and banditry." Yes, still on the Punch newspaper, where we've got this coming from Osun State. Adeleke shuns Osun PDP primary as Adebayo emerges governorship candidate. And now to the details. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke and other key leaders of the People's Democratic Party in the state were absent yesterday as the party held its governorship primary, where Adedamola Adebayo emerged as the PDP's candidate for the 2026 Osun governorship election. Adebayo pulled 919 votes out of the 957 accredited delegates who participated in the exercise held in Osogbo. Declaring the results, the chairman of the primary election committee, Humphrey Abba, said, "Void votes 20. We told you earlier that one of the aspirants withdrew. The candidate that got the remaining vote is Adebayo Adedamola with 919 votes and stands elected and returned." Shortly after the exercise ended, the Speaker of the Osun State House of Assembly, Adewale Egbedun, led some lawmakers to the venue and confronted individuals still on the premises. A fracas ensued, during which a man believed to be the staff member of the Independent National Electoral Commission was assaulted by suspected hoodlums. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, "Adeleke shuns Osun PDP primary as Adebayo emerges governorship candidate." Yes, the program is still in the papers, coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. For comments and contributions, you can reach out to us on our social media handle on Facebook, at Instagram and TikTok at iPower 1027 FM, and on X at iPower 1027. You can also reach out to us on the studio lines at 08165524699, 08165524699. Yes, moving on, still on the Punch newspaper, we have got this coming from Edo State. Edo PDP bicker over alleged destruction of Obaseki's legacy projects. And now to the details. The Edo State government and the People's Democratic Party has renewed hostilities over claims that former Governor Godwin Obaseki's legacy projects have been destroyed. The PDP, in a statement signed by its Publicity Secretary Dan Osa-Ogbegi, accused the state government of launching a coordinated and increasingly reckless campaign of calumny, provocation, distortion, and hostility, orchestrated by Senator Monday Okpebolo and the APC Godfathers. Osa-Ogbegi listed projects allegedly under attack, including Saro Farms in Orionwo and Ovia, and Benin Enterprise Park, the Museum of West African Art, and the Radisson Hotel. He also cited reversals of the Edo GIS and the digital land reforms, civil service reforms, educational gains under the Edo Best, and the agricultural investment pipeline. The PDP said it was using the opportunity to alert the federal government and the people of Edo State to some of the anomalies taking place in the state. The statement also reads, and I quote, "From the Presco land scandal to the intimidation of investors across the state, the APC-led government is symmetrically attacking the progress that made Edo Nigeria most promising agro-industrial hub. These are not acts of governance, they are acts of vendetta, bitterness, and political vandalism." Despite persistent provocations, Godwin Obaseki has maintained dignity and restraint. The APC is angry because Obaseki still commands global respect. Their attacks only expose their insecurity. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, Edo PDP bicker over alleged destruction of Obaseki legacy projects. You're still on the Punch newspaper, now talking PDP crisis. Makinde block issues, Wike others expulsion certificates. And now to the details. The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party deepened yesterday as Kabiru Turaki-led bloc of the party announced that it had issued expulsion certificates to the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose, and 9 others earlier expelled by the PDP National Convention in Ibadan, Oyo State. The Turaki bloc is backed by Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde Turaki, who displayed the certificate during the briefing with newsmen at the Bauchi State Governor's Lounge as Sokoro said the action was taken to formally affirm the decision of the convention, the party's highest decision-making organ, and to prevent the affected individuals from violating Nigerians' law on dual party membership. He said, and I quote, "We have also considered the issue of members of our party who were expelled by the National Convention in Ibadan. We have taken note of the fact that Nigeria's law frowns on dual membership of political parties, and so we have sought to make it easy for them. Now that they are no longer members of our party, we have decided to issue them certificates of expulsion." Turaki displayed its certificates one after the other, beginning with that of Wike and Fayose, and noted that all 11 certificates had already been dispatched via courier to the affected individuals. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, Makinde block issues, Wike others expulsion certificates. Yes, I'm moving on to the Daily Post newspaper, where we've got this coming from Minister Matawale. Minister Matawale in trouble over old video of him allegedly defending some bandits. And now to the details. A cross-section of Nigerians have initiated a call for Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawale's resignation over an old video of him currently circulating online. The video, recorded by Channels TV in 2021, captured Matawale, who was then the governor of Zamfara State, defending some troublemakers in the state. Matawale made the comment at the State House, Abuja, after meeting with the President Muhammadu Buhari while answering questions from journalists on activities of bandits in Zamfara State. Matawale said, and I quote, "Not all of them are criminals." He also stated, and I quote, "Not all of them are criminals. If you investigate what is happening and what made them to take the law into their hands, some of them sometimes were cheated by so-called vigilante groups. They normally go to their settlement and destroy properties and take their animals. They did not have anyone to speak with, so sometimes they go for revenge. When the vigilante groups attacks them, they go for reprisals. That is exactly what happened." The video resurfaced online shortly after Nigerian Defense Minister Alhaji Mohammed Badaru tendered his resignation. Here are some of the reactions from X, formerly Twitter, as compiled by Newsman. This is coming from Abdulwad. He says Matawale always approached bandits with negotiations rather than fighting them. He negotiated for the Kebbi's girls' release. Another one says that Tinubu should take out Matawale, who turned the defense minister into a campaign op. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, "Minister Matawale in trouble over old video of him allegedly defending some bandits." Yes, so on the Daily Post newspaper, where we've got this excitement as 38 abducted Kwara worshippers reunite with families. And now to the details. The 38 worshippers abducted in Eruku Ekiti local government area of Kwara State have safely returned to their families day after authorities confirmed their rescue. The victims were abducted on November 18th during a Thanksgiving service at CAC Okeshegun Eruku, an attack that left 3 people dead and 1 injured. In a statement yesterday evening, Dada Sunday, Chief Press Secretary to the Ekiti local government chairman, said the rescued individuals were formally handed over to Chairman Awelewa Olawale Gabriel in Ilorin for Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak. It described the handover as the conclusion of the coordinated rescue operations involving federal and state security agencies. Chairman Awelewa expressed gratitude to President Bola Tinubu, Governor Abdurrazak, the National Security Advisor, and all security personnel involved, praising their swift response. He also acknowledged the medical care provided to the victims and reassured residents that security across all 10 wards of the local government would be reinforced. The freed worshippers arrived in Eruku at approximately 6:30 yesterday, where they were warmly received by relatives and community members. The Owa of Eruku had lauded the rescue effort, noting the relief it brought to a community that had been deeply unsettled since the incident. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, "Excitement as 38 abducted Kwara worshippers reunite with families." Yes, moving ahead to the Nation newspaper, where I've got this on Shatima to journalist. "You are democracy's shield against authoritarian threats." And now to the details. Vice President Kashim Shatima has said Nigerian journalists are the nation's foremost defense against authoritarianism. He said press freedom remains one non-negotiable under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Speaking at the 2025 conference and annual general meeting of the International Press Institute, Nigeria in Abuja, Shettima said the media has continued to provide stability during periods of national tension by countering misinformation and holding leaders accountable. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communication in the Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, the Vice President said, "We owe you a space of practice devoid of harassment, intimidation, or fear. That much is non-negotiable. As a government, we must continue to create an environment where truth can thrive without obstruction and where the work you do is protected rather than policed." The conference, with the theme Addressing Media's Repression and Safeguarding Democratic Accountability in Nigeria, brought together journalists, media executives, civil society groups, and government officials. Shettima also applauded the resilience of Nigerians' media, stressing that no dictatorship can thrive in a country with such vigilant press. If that's to realign with your interest, it is on the Nation newspaper with the headline, Shettima to journalists, your democracy's shield against authoritarian threats. Yes, glad to have you back. Still on the Nation newspaper, reps to probe recovered NSIPA 30 billion funds. And now to the details. The House of Representatives has said it will investigate the total funds recovered by the National Social Assurance Protection Agency during the 2024-2025 investigations to determine their current status and custodianship of the funds. The investigation is to identify issues delaying the release of the funds to the appropriate agencies with the aim of facilitating the prompt recommencement of the social investment program. The resolution, following a motion of urgent public importance moved by Saidu Musa Abdullahi, APC Niger, the House resolved to set up an HOC committee to engage with relevant agencies to obtain all necessary information and clarification relating to recovered funds, and also obtain a clear implementation and disbursement plan from the NSIPA showing how the recovered funds will be utilized once released. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Nation newspaper with the headline, Reps to probe recovered NSIPA's 30 billion naira funds. Yes, and with that, we will take a short break. When we get back, we will continue reading out to you the headlines we've got for you this morning. Yes, glad to have you back. The program is still in the papers, coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. For comments and contributions to the stories read out to you, the number to call is 0813-274-7339. 0813-274-7339. If that number doesn't go, another one to call is 081-655-24699. That number again, 081-655-24699. Like I said earlier on the program, we have two segments on the program this morning. We've come to an end of the first segment on the program where we've read out headlines and stories from different newspapers to you, and the second segment of the program where we've got our in-house analyst that we will be asking him some questions on germane topics in Nigeria, and he will be giving us his views on what on those topics too. Good morning, Mr. Akin.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on the program this morning.
Thank you for being on the program. And good morning, Mr. Good morning, Akin.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on the program this morning.
Yes, thank you for being on the program this morning. And this morning we will be taking a dive. We'll be taking a look at this very this trending issue right now, the trending issue on Sowore. And we know that the court has warned Sowore and barred him from statements threatening national peace, because at some point he posted and in one of his posts he might have said that the president is a criminal. Now, my first question to you, Akin, is we all know that Sowore has an history of activism and political commentary. Does the ruling affect his freedom of expression in politics?
Yeah, thank you very, very much. Like you rightly said, Sowore has, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the longest history of activism in Nigeria, not just only on politics, on any issues that borders on. Probably when it started with student unionism. From there it went into other national issues and now politics. I think why it appears maybe his activism is more pronounced on the political arena is because he once vied for the presidency in the country. So that is why any of his statement now is viewed as a political statement. So, and being a politician, there is no way your opponent will not want to find fault in anything you say, either genuine or counterfeit. Either you say it based on sincerity or otherwise. Being a politician, they will always find fault in it. Be that as it may, like I said, Sowore is, he has been one of the most pronounced, activists in the Nigerian political space. But when it comes to the issue of some words, some utterances, we need to be very, 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 very careful. Any words that will lead to a kind of incitement, any statement that will lead to a kind of unrest, either civil or political, I think then we should try to exercise caution. Sowore is no doubt a public figure. He's having, if I'm not mistaken, he's one of the major persons that coordinate the youth, because he's more of a youth, even not minding his age, but at least he's still regarded as a youth. So he's one of the very few persons that the youth actually listens to. So he should be mindful of his statement, because any statement he makes will go a long way in determining maybe any form of actions that follow the statement. Just like the case of Nnamdi Kanu, when I had some lawyers, in fact, it amazes me when lawyers begin to say that, what did they say? He was not caught with a gun, he was not caught with anything, he only uttered a statement. But we all know that under the criminal code, any inciting statement that leads to destruction of property, that leads to loss of life, is no doubt a criminal offense on its own. So that is why, as a public figure, as one of the persons that controls probably the media space or controls the thinking, the reasoning of the youth, we should be mindful of what we say. Now, for Sowore to have even uttered a statement like the president is a criminal, it is a criminal offense on its own. Because for you to see, there's a law of person that says that he who asserts must prove. For you to have gone on air, either through electronics or print, to have said that the president of your country is a criminal, then I think you must have an evidence. You can't just raise such powerful allegation without you having a convincing evidence. So let's be mindful of the statement. Just like in the United States, you dare not call the United States president a criminal. You can call him more manner of name. You can call him maybe he's not productive. He's this, he's that. But criminal. He's a real criminal offense on his own. So, though he has had his own day in the court, he has been granted bail with warnings. Even giving him a warning is a very good soft landing, if I must confess, because they would have instructed him to provide a substantial, convincing evidence to back up any of those utterances. So, Sowore should be very mindful of his utterances in subsequent interviews, in subsequent press release. Thank you very much.
Yes, many thanks to you for that. And For comments and contributions, you can reach out to us on the studio line at 0816-552-4699. You can also reach out to us on 0813-274-7339. Yes, Akin, I have another question for you concerning the old Showore saga. The fact that he spoke, would it be the action that was taken, would this be like a blockage for other activists that want to speak out against the government, or speak out against what the government is doing? Will it be like a restriction, a ban on other political activists, that the action taken against Showore does it serve as a ban on other political activists that want to speak out?
Thank you very, very much. Number one, it's not going to be a ban on other political activists from speaking out. Like I said, in fact, like a particular president once said, I think it should be Robert Mugabe. He said, you can exercise your fundamental freedom in your statement, but I cannot guarantee your freedom after the statement. You can exercise your fundamental human right on freedom of speech, but I cannot guarantee your freedom after your speech. Which simply means that there are some statements that are so inciting. There are some statements that can create problems. There are some statements that can create civil unrest. There are some statements that can create chaos. So which means that we are not saying that you should not hear your view. Of course, you, as a Nigerian or as any citizen of any country, you have the fundamental human right, particularly in a democracy. It is only in autocracy that you cannot probably hear your views, because when the military are in government, in fact, even we medias, we are seriously limited. But in a democracy, you are allowed to hear your view. That is why we always say that the best military rule is not as good as the worst democratic rule, all because of the principle of freedom of speech. Freedom of speech goes a long way in shaping and reshaping the policy of government in the democracy. Freedom of speech goes a long way in reshaping the thinking and the ideology of our citizens. Freedom of speech goes a long way in establishing, probably making your country more acceptable. But you see, in the case where I begin to say that the president of a country is a criminal, this president goes out there. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the president of any country is the number one PR of that country, because he's the one that will go out there to negotiate on any international engagement. The one that we go by now, you see, by the time you now say such thing, how do you now expect other colleagues internationally to see the president of such country? It's having a very serious, grievous implication on the country whereby your citizen calls you a criminal. So no matter what, no matter how aggrieved, no matter how offended you think you are, for no reason should you raise such powerful allegations. For no reason should you use such derogatory statement against the president of your country. Calling the president of the country a criminal is highly derogatory, and to me, it's not acceptable. But of course, that doesn't mean that other activists cannot hear their views on any issue that borders down on politics, that borders down on security, that borders down on economy, that borders down on any, issues that I think is not going down well with our citizens. But we should do this with utmost caution. We should do this with facts. You can't just go on air and begin to ooze out things that cannot be fact checked. You can't just go on air and begin to make statements or commentaries that you yourself cannot defend whenever you are called upon, probably from the court or from the police, to come and defend your statement. So for the court to have granted him that bail, to me is still a very fair judgment. So other activists, politically or otherwise, can still hear their view, but they should do it with utmost caution and with facts to back up any other statement. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Akin. Now, moving on our questions this morning, I've got this one. The court's ruling actually apparently favors Showore. And what legal proceedings or arguments might have led to that decision of just the warning? Because you said initially that if it were in the United States, calling the president a criminal is a crime. So would there have been a more germane judgment for that action he took, for that calling the president a criminal?
Thank you very, very much. Well, when it comes to the issue of judgment, it is at the discretion of the judge. It is the judge that can determine, even like I've always said, that no matter how terrible something might be, the judge still has the prerogative. The prerogative of judgment lies on the discretion of the judgment. Now, after considering the facts available, after considering the evidences presented in the court, the judge can still, like I said, the judge is just trying to be merciful in this context. And again, so far, the president himself that was alleged did not take up the case. I think it was the IG that made the arrest and charged him to court. So, of course, the IG can do that, for the sake of peace to reign. That is one. Secondly, but if the president himself had taken it up, that okay, maybe he was charged for defamation of character, for libel, as the case may be, then there could have been more grievous judgment regarding that. But since because that's what we call the court standard, and that's what is the interest of the person that is challenging a particular case. What is the interest of the IG? The IG just charged the case to court simply because they just want such thing to be checked. That for no reason should you have authored such statement against the president. But if the president had been the one that actually charged him to court, well, I never can tell the dimension at which the judgment would have gone. The judge might still, in his own discretion, still dispense the judgment the way he did, or he might have taken it a step further. But in the case of the IG that took the case to the court, then the judge might just discretionally just allow you to slide by granting him that bail. So to me, I think the judgment is still a fair one, like I've earlier said, based on the discretion of the judge. So that doesn't give the other activists to use such statements. And Sowore is a well recognized public figure. So I think judgment was called based on that as well. So I think that is my own submission about the whole thing. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Akin. Yes, I've got this other question for you now. What do you think Sowore's president, that statement, the president is a criminal, remark signals about the current political climate in Nigeria? What does he say about the current political climate in Nigeria?
Well, we are having a president that once said that there is nothing you say against him that have any effect. The president is one of the very few presidents that's having a very tough skin. Hardly will you see him reacting to issues, particularly that borders on him, insulting from now. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, he is one of the very few presidents that has been abused, that has been insulted, that has been called all manners of derogatory names. But you not see him reacting. So I really want to tolerate the president's candor. I want to tolerate, I really want to appreciate the president's candor in handling statements against him. So for Sowore to have made such statements, and like I said, if the president had done otherwise, probably reacted negatively, then we can be talking about its implication on Nigeria. But now, the immediate recipient of Sowore's statement did not even say anything. And like he has always said, that nothing moves him. If you like insulting from night tomorrow, he doesn't care. So I think all kudos should go to the president for his level of tolerance. There are so many leaders that you wouldn't have even said something that is not as magnanimous, or should I say, that is not as mammoth as what Sowore has said, and would have reacted. If it were to be some president, then I think Sowore by now will still be cool enough. Detention. So for me, there is no azus, no problem whatsoever. It's not having any implication since the person that is insulted has not reacted. He has not made any statement concerning it, and he has said over time that he doesn't give a damn. Anything you want to say about him, say it. He doesn't look at that place that he's a go-getter. That what he wants to achieve is what is right before him. So he doesn't get the stuff. So to me, Sowore is just rousing about calling the president such name without the president responding. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, yes, I've got this one on Sowore for you. Concerning the whole thing, now we know that the court has actually warned Sowore. Should he continue speaking out, or should he tone it down a little?
Well, Sowore is an adult. He's a man on his own. You see, so far he bears the name Sowore. So nobody's at least he's having, apart from Sowore, he's having other names. So anything he says will be on his own name. Anything he says, if it seems to be libelous, if it seems to be insightful, then I think he can always have his day in court. So we cannot say Sowore should not speak. Sowore can speak. In fact, he has been speaking and he will continue to speak. But it's not left for him, and there is one thing. That is why I will always appreciate the Honorable Justice for him to have dispensed that judgment in his favor, because I can say that judgment was actually dispensed in his favor. Other judges would have done otherwise. I don't know, maybe in this country or in another country. You understand? But be that as it may, Sowore, if you like, he can tone it down. If you like, even if you advise him to tone it down, like I said, he's an adult. He can take it on his own. And if at all he decides to say things again that will get him arrested, that will make him to appear in the court, then I think it is at his own expense, not any Nigerian's expense. So that is just it. Like Nnamdi Kanu now is queen of now in Sokoto Correctional Center. You understand? Based on his statement, though there are two differences anyway, because that his own statement led to wanton destruction of property, economic damage, and loss of so many lives. But that is by the way. But Sowore's case, if he likes, let him tone it down. If he likes, let him continue saying things that eventually implicate him more than the ones he had been saying before. So he's an adult. He bears the name Sowore. He should be able to take responsibility for any of his actions, inactions, and comments. Thank you very much.
Yes. Now, I want to ask you, what advice would you give Sowore now?
Like I said, I cannot give any advice. Sowore is not a boy.
Okay.
He's not a boy. So
but if by chance you were after the action he took, calling the president a criminal, if by chance you were one of his political advisors, what advice would you give him?
One thing is this. You can only give someone an advice, or should I say, anybody that decides to take one's advice is come from the area or from the angle of probably he has once suffered a particular damage or the other based on maybe one of his utterances. But going by this judgment, like I've said, it was given a soft landing. So we always believe that even if he says something more derogatory than that, he might still be given that same soft landing. So, but had it been, I'm just saying this anyway, had it been he was sentenced now, maybe a year or two that the case may be without the option of fine. If he comes back, it's possible when you talk to him then he might listen. But now that he's been given this soft landing, what do you want to advise such person? And like I said, when it comes to activism, he's a veteran. I mean, give it to him. So by the time, who am I to advise him? I mean, activism have I led. So that is what he does. So and I would want to say that he knows what he has made from it. He has, in fact, has even made him to be one of the most popular person in Nigeria or in Africa as well, based on his activism. Thank you very much. So there is no advice I can give to him now, other than for him to just take it cool. And that's not left for him to either take it or jettison it. It's his own cup of tea.
Yes. Finally, my final question is how do you think ordinary Nigerians will view the president and the court after this soft landing that Sowore was given?
Like I said, if you are very familiar with the political terrain in Nigeria, we know that we are having a president that tolerates all manners of badges. If I'm not mistaken, he's one of the most maligned presidents. I don't think anybody has been that maligned. I don't think anybody, it's just like when the issue of NSAS took place in Lagos. According to what we heard, that when those guys went to his house and were trying to burn the house down, the security called him and tried to what should we do? He said, leave the house, let them burn it down. That he that was able to build that house and build one that's far better than that, let them burn. And he has been a victim of so many attacks, politically, even in the military, from the military. I mean, name it. So as I don't see him reacting on any ground. But like you rightly asked, for any other person that is listening, you should not, because of Sowore said this, and probably was given a bail option. That doesn't mean that he should now toe that same line. And what somebody did and was successful, someone else might do it and might end up in where he or she never bargained for. So to me, I don't see it as an issue. All we just need to do, maybe in a various space, as an activist, either political, economic, environmental activist, or what have you, you should just know how to manage information we should just be careful of our utterances, particularly as you are moving into next year general election. You will start hearing all manners, even far worse than what Showore said. But in all this, I want to commend the president, like I've earlier done, that he is having a very tough skin. His level of tolerance is a top notch. I give it to him. His level of tolerance I give to him is a top notch. If most of our politicians can have such level of tolerance, that is why, and it eventually pays off. If I'm not mistaken, in the history of this country, he seems to be the first person that will assume the presidency without a godfather. You see, even when he contested for the primaries, then we all knew what he passed through. Even in general election, his own party worked against him. But by virtue of the people he has made over time, by virtue of the relationship he has built over time, people trust him. People have that confidence in him, and that is why he was able to win both the primaries and the general election. And people are very loyal to him. And all this, you see, like I've always said, leadership, you lead with humility, you lead with example. So I want to actually give that to him. That he's very humble, and when it comes to tolerance, give it to him. There's nobody, even I'm just chip in this. Adekoya that is insulting here and there. If today we come back to meet him, they will reconcile, they will come. That is that kind of person. So he's one of the very few Nigerian, let me put it that way, that has that very tough skin for tolerance. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Akin. Yes, can we please quickly have your closing remark?
Thank you very much for having me once more on the program today. I'll just say that we all should try to do the right thing. Doing the right thing is the way forward. Doing the right thing is the best way to go. And I can assure you, if we all endeavor to do the right thing, Nigeria will be a better place for all to live. Thank you very much for having me on the program.
Nigeria will be a better place, and that is coming from Akin. Yes, for comments and contributions to the stories and the topic that we've discussed today, the number to call is 0816-552-4699. The numbers again, 0816-552-4699. If that number doesn't go, another one to call is 08132747339. That number again, 081-3274-7339. Many thanks to you, many thanks to you, Akin Adebayo, for coming live on the program this beautiful morning. And with that, we've come to a wrap on today's